OpenAI just bought a company that doesn't exist to train a model that hasn't been released yet.
You mean the one that doesn't exist yet, or the one that doesn't exist anymore?
Right. The acquisition is real. The target is abstract.
And you're calling it a win? Because I'm calling it a hallucination.
Welcome back to the Tab Dump. I'm Alex.
I'm Sam, and today we're unpacking Rappers Teaching Law, OpenAI's Phantom Acquisition, and why your airport is a ghost town.
We're diving into the wild side of tech, from constitutional crises in hip-hop to public health data disasters.
So we're starting with the Lemonade trial, because I think you're already hyped.
Hyped? I'm vibrating. It's a rapper, a court, and a copyright lawsuit that somehow became a constitutional seminar.
Ha!
The security footage mechanics here are actually mind-blowing. He didn't just have cameras. He had a loop buffer capturing audio and video with timestamps, essentially creating an unalterable chain of custody in real time. It's the ultimate audit log. And then they whine about him using it? It's like a bank robber getting mad that the CCTV timestamped his entry. The asymmetry is hilarious.
Ha! Right, but let's stop calling this a triumph of individual rights before we look at the scoreboard.
He won the defamation suit, sure, but he apparently lost the civil suit for damages to his house and stolen property. So he's vindicated, but financially gutted.
Wait. So the police raided him, found no drugs, sued him for calling them out, and he walked away with no money but his dignity intact? That's still a win for the system.
Is it? Or is it just a fluke because he had the specific quirks of civil versus criminal law on his side? Most people don't have 4K dashcams and a lawyer on retainer to fight a multi-year civil war against a sheriff's department.
But the precedent is the thing. If the court says you can't sue a citizen for recording police misconduct, that changes the incentive structure for the whole force.
That's a hot take, Alex. The only thing that changed is that cops now know if they get caught doing something sketchy, they might get sued by a rapper with a YouTube channel. What about the single mom in Ohio who gets her door kicked in for a warrant based on bad intel? She doesn't get a viral moment.
Wow. Okay, fair point on the demographic skew, but think about the data pipeline. The footage itself is the weapon. It's immutable truth.
Immutable truth doesn't pay for the smashed door, Alex.
No.
And honestly, isn't it terrifying that the police department thought it was a valid strategy to sue a citizen for using their own security footage?
Yeah, but it's not terrifying. It's just incompetence. They thought the legal system was their shield, not their exposure.
Right, but if they thought that, they're not incompetent. They're just calculating the risk. And for most people, the risk is too high to fight back.
Well, what's the takeaway? Just buy more cameras and hope you go viral?
No. The takeaway is that this wasn't a victory for the average citizen. It was a victory for Afroman, a very specific individual with very specific resources.
That's a pretty cynical read of a jury finding not liable on the core claim.
It's a grounded read of a guy who spent years of his life fighting a lawsuit and still lost his property damage claim.
Okay, I see the financial angle. But legally, the jury rejecting the defamation claim is the big one.
And that's the thing that makes it a fluke. It relied on a specific jury in a specific county feeling bad about how the cops acted.
But if the jury felt that way, doesn't that mean the system works?
Only if the jury was actually representative, and not just a room full of people who happened to hate the sheriff on that day.
So you think this was all luck?
I think it was luck, resources, and a very specific set of circumstances that won't repeat for the 99% of people who get raided.
That's a terrible worldview, Sam.
I'm calling it what it is. A glitch in the matrix that favors the truth.
It's not a glitch, it's a feature of a system that requires money to access justice. And Afroman had the money, or the fame, which counts the same in court.
Wait, did you say the court date was in 2026?
No, the article says 2026, but that's a typo in the source. It's 2024. The New York Times link is clearly a placeholder, or a future-dated glitch.
Ah, right, my bad. 2026 makes it sound like a sci-fi courtroom drama.
Exactly. Which fits the vibe, doesn't it? A rapper versus the state, resolved in a future that hasn't happened yet.
I still think the footage is the hero here.
The footage is just evidence. The hero is the jury that decided to listen.
And the jury only listened because the footage was undeniable.
Or because the cops looked like idiots on camera. There's a difference.
Ha! You're impossible today.
I'm just saying, don't tell people to buy cameras to protect their rights. Tell them to save money for a lawyer.
Okay, so OpenAI just bought Astral. This is actually the best engineering move I've seen in years. Think about the pipeline. Astral's tooling is written in Rust, it's fast, it handles Python dependency hell like a boss. Merging that into the AI stack? That's pure velocity. They're literally buying the ability to compile and iterate faster. It's like upgrading from a propeller plane to a jet fighter. Right, but does this actually help the people writing the code, or is it just a shiny wrapper? You're talking about velocity like it's a feature, but who gets hurt when we optimize the toolchain for speed but lose the safety rails?
Wait, safety rails? We're talking about dependency resolution here, not constitutional law like that rap trial we discussed.
Exactly. The Lemonade trial was about accountability. This acquisition feels like buying the gavel to pretend you care about the rules, while you're actually just speeding up the sentencing.
You can't buy developer trust, Alex. That's a hot take, but I think this is hollow PR.
Oh, come on. It's not PR if the tool actually works better. Astral's UV is blazing fast. Why wouldn't you want that in your deployment pipeline?
Because the moment OpenAI owns the package manager, do we trust it? Or do we just assume they're optimizing for model training, not our code?
That's paranoid. They're just tinkerers too. I mean, Eric Trout is there now, right? He's a legend.
Wait, Eric Trout is at OpenAI? I thought he was still at Microsoft or something.
Yeah, he's there now. Moved over last year.
So even if the tech is cool, are we just centralizing the entire Python ecosystem under one corporate roof?
I think you're overthinking the monopoly angle. It's just tools, Sam. Cool, fast tools.
Tools that decide which code gets run. That's not just tools, that's control.
But if it makes the LLM training loop 30% faster, isn't that worth the risk?
Worth whose risk? The developers or the corporations?
The data pipeline for tracking these vaccination rates in Michigan is honestly a mess. We're talking about legacy EHR systems, inconsistent reporting standards, and manual uploads that create latency so high, the numbers are basically stale before they hit the dashboard. How can you even trust the drop is real if the ingestion layer is this fragmented?
So you're saying the numbers might be a glitch? Right, but the CDC data shows a specific 15% drop in second dose completions for measles in rural counties over just 3 months.
Wait. 15% isn't a rounding error on a spreadsheet, Alex. That's thousands of kids who are now walking around unprotected against a virus that can kill them.
I'm not saying it's fake. I'm saying the attribution is the real bug here. Everyone is blaming the algorithmic amplification of RFK Jr.'s rhetoric, but we have no visibility into the actual recommendation graphs.
It's like trying to debug a distributed system where half the nodes are running on firmware from 2012.
Huh. You're treating public health like a content moderation ticket.
Well, isn't that exactly what it is now?
No, the tech is just the delivery mechanism. The problem is the supply chain of trust has collapsed.
And we're going to let the debate about API latency distract us from the fact that kids are getting sick?
Oh, come on! If we can't measure the vector accurately, we can't patch the vulnerability!
The vulnerability isn't the code, it's the parents who believe a health secretary who doesn't have a medical degree.
But if the algorithm is pushing that content because engagement metrics prioritize outrage, isn't that a tech failure?
It's a human failure that tech exploited, and we need to stop treating it like a feature request.
Okay, fair enough, but can we agree the data is opaque?
The data is clear, Alex. The kids aren't getting vaccinated.
I can't shake the image of a literal kill switch for the national airspace system. It's like someone hard-coded a shutdown function into the deployment pipeline of the entire country's transport layer, triggered by a funding boolean. The engineering implication is that we've built a system with no graceful degradation, just a hard crash on exception. Right, but who actually gets hurt when that Boolean flips false? It's not the senators in Washington who rejected the 5 funding bills. It's the baggage handler in Ohio who just got fired.
I know, but the fragility of the architecture is just... It's a design flaw at scale. Ha! You're obsessed with the blueprint while the building is burning down. Wait, hear me out. If we don't understand that the system is designed to break, we can't fix it. This isn't just a bug, it's a feature of a system that rewards gridlock.
So much winning, right? That's the only metric that matters, apparently.
I mean, is it? Or are we just bad at handling edge cases in governance?
We aren't handling edge cases, we are manufacturing them. And don't act like this is new to the show. Remember when we talked about the Lemonade trial? It's the same thing, turning a complex human tragedy into a game show where someone wins.
But the mechanism is different here. This is physical infrastructure, not just social capital.
Is it? When a flight gets grounded, who pays the price? The airline stockholders or the family stuck at the gate for 3 days?
Okay, fair point. The cost propagation is asymmetric.
Exactly. And that's why winning feels so hollow when the system is this brittle.
So, do we just accept the crash?
No. We stop calling it a game.
My pick is the Astral Acquisition. The idea that OpenAI is buying speed over soul is basically a documentary on how we built a Ferrari engine into a toaster.
Right, but that's a luxury problem. My takeaway is the Vaccination Data Drop, because when a tech company treats public health collapse as a data drop, they aren't building tools, they're building the weapon that fires back at the user.
Wow, okay, dramatic. I mean, the data pipeline architecture was actually fascinating. The way they handled the ingestion rates.
So you're saying the architecture matters more than the fact that people are getting hurt? Because the source material said 14% of the data was flagged as unverifiable in the first 48 hours.
Wait. It was 12%, not 14%. But fair point on the human cost. But look, if the pipeline breaks, the data doesn't land and the system fails anyway.
Here's my hot take. Within 2 years, every major tech acquisition will include a constitutional rights clause in the merger agreement, just to avoid a rapper becoming a law professor in court.
I think you're underestimating how much companies love a bad press cycle until the SEC knocks on the door.
Fair enough, but hey, at least we're all talking about it. Catch you both on the next dump!
See you there. Stay skeptical.